The liver up here makes this soapy substance called bile, and the bile helps us emulsify or break down our dietary fats so that we can access things like fat-soluble vitamins and the body can use those dietary fats. It helps us digest our food correctly, so it's important stuff. But the bile comes down here from the liver and then it's stored in the gallbladder. The gallbladder's job is to store that bile and also to concentrate the bile. It concentrates that bile so that a small amount can be more effective and help us digest our food a little bit better. And what happens is when we eat food and then our stomach makes hydrochloric acid so we can acidify that food and start the breakdown process, and then once it's acidified correctly, it will leave the stomach and come down here into the duodenum. And when the acidic food comes in here into the duodenum, that's when the gallbladder will squirt this alkaline bile down here through this biliary duct, and that alkaline bile is then going to meet the acidic product that left the stomach, and when those two pHs collide, it creates this sizzle. And the bile helps us neutralize those acids, and that sizzle helps us bust that food apart and get all the minerals and all the nutrients out of that food. That's how we truly break down the food into elemental nutrients so the body can use those nutrients. The problem is that for a wide variety of reasons, a person's bile can become too thick and sticky to flow correctly. So then it won't flow down here to help us neutralize those acids that leave the stomach. And then if those acids are not neutralized, they can continue to move through the intestinal tract, and those acids are made to break down protein. Well, guess what your intestinal tract is made of? Protein. So if those acids are moving through there, the body's going to be like, hey, I don't want you to digest a whole through my intestinal tract. So it brings all the water it can there to cool it down, and then it rushes out of the system, and then it lifts us off the toilet like a rocket when we have crazy diarrhea. So that can create some problems where we're not really assimilating all of our nutrients in that food because it's screaming through the system too quickly. So that bile can be important just to help us neutralize those acids. But if the bile isn't flowing correctly and helping us create that sizzle where the acid is meeting the alkaline, then it's hard to get all of the minerals and nutrients out of the food that we're eating. So here we see a situation where maybe the gallbladder is not working correctly because the bile is not flowing correctly. And that doesn't mean that it's the gallbladder's fault, really. There's a lot of things in our life today that can thicken up our bile so that it won't flow correctly. And then the gallbladder is just doing its job. Hey, I'm just doing my job. I'm just concentrating this bile here. But if the bile's not flowing, it will continue to concentrate until it concentrates into sludge or even into stones.